Waiting.
Welcome to Dental Unscripted, where Mike Dinsio and Paula Quinn break down the practice ownership journey, one episode at a time. Starting up, buying, and running a successful dental practice.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dental Unscripted. My name's Michael Dinsio. I also have my amazing business partner, Paula Quinn, on the show. And we have a fun guest today. You are in for a treat because we talk a lot about demographics and the startup process. We also talk a lot about it with acquisitions. But today, you get these really fancy demographic reports. How does that translate to marketing? And that's what we're talking about today. So it's like the gap between knowing your area and the opportunity that area provides you. But then what do you do with it? And we have a marketing specialist on the other side of this. It's Guido Tebano at Market My Market. And this guy understands this stuff, and we're going to have him break it down. What's up, Guido? How you doing, man?
Hey, how are you guys doing? Thank you for having me today.
Of course.
Conversations.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, marketing is almost a question Paul and I get monthly. And it's like, I just need more new patients. And oftentimes it's not the actual wrong problem, but it is a problem sometimes. And I think, I think this is definitely something that needs to be addressed. And I'm excited about it. A little housekeeping before we get into it. Of course, like, subscribe, please review us. I mean, that helps our ratings and gets the program out. We don't do this for money. We do it for passion. And that those reviews help. And so please do that. And then, you can watch this on YouTube, Instagram. We're streaming on LinkedIn even right now. So you got all kinds of ways to send us questions during the pod, and you should, because it makes it more fun. So, all right, without any, what Paula?
It does. I mean, yesterday we got a compliment. We're like, oh, we didn't even know if anyone watched.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while we get a little groupie, and it makes us feel really good. They were like, okay, yay, people.
Yeah, someone watches. Someone's watching. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It definitely helps. So, okay, so let's just jump right into it. Guido, you work for, tell us a little bit, actually, before we get into the topic, tell us a little bit about Market My Market and
Absolutely.
what you do there and all the fun stuff about
what you
company.
don't do there,
So Market by Market has been around for over a decade. We started out in legal marketing, and a couple of years ago, through a really good friend of mine, we ended up in the dental sector. And compared to lawyers, we love it because it's just a lot easier to rank a dentist versus a personal injury attorney with that will spend $4,000 to $5,000 for a lead, literally.
Whoa.
So, kind of looking back, and my background has always been in self-storage, coming from a REIT world where everything is numbers and analytics and demographics, and kind of figuring out where you open a storage facility. And it's kind of the same thing. And everyone always asks me, what's the sort of connection between dental and self-storage, which I did for 20-something years, dating myself. And that's all the ads that I run in the world for storage or moving isn't going to make someone move. And it's the same thing in dental. You either need a dentist or you don't. No matter how good you are, you're either in pain, there's some sort of trigger, you're a service industry that makes you look up a dentist. And it's a fast buying cycle because as much as they love you, no one is browsing around on dental websites like you're looking for a Hermes bag or picking out a car or a house. It's not fun. Right. And again, no one wakes up in the morning and goes, I really want to go to a dentist and spend money, or whatever.
What?
It is. That's
really
connection.
Right. I love spending money.
And it's the same buying process or same process of search that happens when you get a flat tire, you need to fix a cell phone, or any of these other service industries. So like that really is what dictates what's going on in that market. And there's sort of, it's super hyper local, right? So because we understand that, no two dentists, their marketing strategy is really the same. There's differences between all of you. There might be similarities, but one practice in an area might be fee for service. One might take insurance. One might have a big, like everyone on the staff speaks Spanish and they want to attract that. And other ones might only want to do cosmetics and not want to see kids.
I know.
So
Isn't it interesting how the dental industry has so many fragments within it? I mean, we get on calls every day. And yesterday, a guy wants to just do root canals or extractions. He just wants to do extractions, and he's going to you're going to do a flat fee and no insurance. And it's going to be, the fees lower than what you pay for insurance. And he doesn't want to deal with it. And he's just super granular. I mean, that's such a boom, and then there's everybody else. It's crazy how fragmented the dental business is.
That's right.
I cut you off.
But everyone says the same thing. I want new patients. I want new patients. I want new patients.
Well,
but what does that mean?
Let's trail that right into kind of the first topic for you today, because this demographics to marketing gap, I think is a real thing. And you're talking about the market, specific market, that a very localized, condensed, specialized market. I mean, everybody's market, I think marketing companies just market generically. A lot of them do. And instead of really honing in on the biggest employers in a zip code or whatever. So getting super granular is the key. And I think that demographic gap is the answer. So first of all, where do we start a location? What do you think is a good area and not a good area when you're reading your demographic reports?
So there's a couple things that we do, because again, we've tied in a bunch of agency analytics into the demographic studies that we do for free, which kind of helps us cherry pick the best practices to work with. Like a good marketing company should always start with a demographic study to see if like what you want is actually feasible, because if there's not enough people searching, it's not going to happen. We're not going to make that happen even with marketing. So what I look at is a couple key metrics. Number one, I want to be in a growing population. Populations do not grow overnight. There's some markets right now in Florida, Texas, California, where you have negative population growth following this post-COVID like rush of people there. Two, what does that population look like? If you don't want to see kids and you want to see like only do cosmetics, then that 55 and over population has to be good, but it also has to be like kind of growing in that sector too. And then again, what is the makeup of those people? So the magic number we kind of look at in an area is, can I service 100,000 people? That seems to be, over the past couple of years and doing like tens of thousands of these, like the number that kind of works, where it doesn't matter how many other dentists are in the market. It's just a good population to be in front of. So we look at that, right? Yeah. And then we want to see good growth. Like, I don't want to see like 0.2%. I want to see like, but like at least the national average for growth in a market. And what are the next like 4 to 5 years look like?
What is that growth percent?
That I want to see average. At least 1.2, something like there,
Wow, that's low. That's low.
Well, again, it just also depends on slicing and dicing the market. In some markets, you're going to see a lot higher, but again, it's like sort of national averages and then breaking it down to like, look, in some areas where now we're getting people like parts of Ohio that are growing pretty fast, like a 1 to 2% growth in an area that had like 40,000 people is like kind of high, So again, we're talking general. It really comes down to that market and what you're doing too, right? So
so growth is your big one. Okay.
Growth is the big one, right? And then the main thing is like, and again, a lot of doctors get fixated on this like provider to population, like sort of number. Mm-hmm. But to us, it doesn't really matter that much. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay.
Ooh, juicy. Okay.
If I am looking for Michael Dinsio, the dentist, I am doing a branded search. If I am looking for an Aspen or, whatever the company is, I am branded searching, looking for them. I'm typing in that name.
Yeah,
I am not saying I need a dentist near me. So going back to what I said, that all the ads that we do is not going to make someone search for a dentist unless they need it. Those generalized terms, which you can pull from Google and other analytics, you can see. So that search volume has to be of a certain like number, because we're not going to be able to make that up, because you as a new doctor or someone opening a practice there is pulling from those generalized searches that happen every month. So you have to look at that. And again,
wait, let me make sure I'm understanding, because I don't want this to go over the audience's head, because
It's over mine.
it's a little over mine. So you're saying that
Because I'm going to search dentist near me. So we want to make sure we clear that up, because that's what I'm
right. You're going to search dentist near me, but dentist near me, right?
Okay, so you're searching. Hold on, you're searching for that, right? But if I'm in a population of 10,000 to 1, which is a freaking amazing location, just anybody searching dentist near me, there's only going to be a few options. So debunk this, like versus. Okay,
let's tell Arizona.
Dentist near me is a very broad search, right? You want to know, and there are some tools out there that called Local Falcon that simulate Google searches, because you constantly use Google and now Apple Maps to do searches, right? Okay. You're looking for other service industries, you're putting in addresses, so they know based on that IP address how far you're going to travel from the epicenter, which is the address of your office, okay? And this changes, because again, if you're in a dense area, like let's say you're in downtown Nashville, it's not going to be as far as in like a remote area of Tennessee, or even like, some areas like, surrounding parts of like Salt Lake City, right?
Because we're going to go get our groceries 30 minutes up the road if we're in a rural area, but Paula won't go more than 2 blocks.
They're like looking at me and being like, this girl never leaves her house.
That's right.
I mean, every time I hang out with Paula,
where is she going?
We're going somewhere or whatever, and she's like, oh my God, it's going to take all day. And I'm like, how long does it take? She's like, 20 minutes. I'm like, 20 minutes is literally me going to pick my kids up and coming back to school like every day. She so what you're saying is my
algorithm knows I need something at 0.5 miles.
You're near me is like a 4-mile radius, Paula, not even. So like again, I know where you live in Arizona, there's sub areas, right? Even though you're part of like, Scottsdale, whatever it is, there's sub areas. Those near me's need to be all those sub areas, which have a search volume associated with them. So we have to look at those all individually and see what that looks like, right? Because I could just say like dentist near me, Phoenix, Arizona. It probably has 12,000 searches.
Exactly.
But that dentist that's opening there is not going to get those 12,000 searches. They're just going to get all those sub areas within the 4-mile radius. So what does that volume look like? Because that makes or breaks the practice.
Interesting.
That's who we're pulling from.
So essentially what you're saying is you're polling, if a dummy word, polling, P-O-L-L, poll, the area on what the activity of searching is,
right? Versus
looking at how many people. You are saying how many searches per provider,
right?
Wow.
Right, because why does that matter? If you're my dentist, I'm going to you. I'm not a new user. The new people you're targeting are people moving into that area, or people that are unhappy with their current dentist, or something that, whatever it is, they had an emergency, the dentist isn't open. So those are all keywords by volume that you have to look at. Ads in dentistry, Instagram posts, stuff like that doesn't change that volume. It's there. All you can do is try to capture that.
Okay. All right. I'm following now. Now that we're locked in.
Fire Guido. This is like too much.
It's too much. Just episode over. Call Guido. Done. Mm-hmm. All right. Now. So not just looking at population, but looking at search volume per provider. Love that. Okay. You were going somewhere else before I interrupted. We had to slow down. We had to slow down Guido so everybody understands. Okay.
So now you need to slice and dice that data, right? Because those keywords are associated with some things. One of them might be pediatrics. So again, then you have to go back and look at how many kids are in that market. Is it growing? And then, just touching on something we're going to talk on later, you have to layer in, if you're a startup, what that insurance game looks like. Mm-hmm. Because that backs into who the employers are in that market and what insurances they're in network for.
Well, let's just go there. You're teasing it. Let's just go there. So,
right.
So Paula runs our credentialing department, and she gets the question all the time about like which are the biggest employers and what insurances do they have, and maybe we should have some strategy for that company or whatever. And there are solutions for this. So there's the demographics piece, and then there's now this insurance piece. What's your answer there? How do you get into that?
So one, if you have the right tools, which we have created, we can scrape data and we can say like, in this market, Carnival Cruise Line has their corporate headquarters and they all take MetLife, right? And there's 10,000 employees. So it makes sense to have some pages that target those employees because people are lazy today and they're going to say, who takes my dental insurance for my company? And the same thing with but again, that's just on a bigger level. There's also smaller employers in a market too that we can pull together. And sometimes like school districts are great. So even looking at that and seeing where the market share comes from, right? Government employees are fantastic. Same thing. If you're by a military base, you probably want to take that insurance and target veterans or, people that are active there, because that's a good opportunity to fill your chairs when you first get started.
Okay. So looking at that, you have the tools, you look at the searches, the employers. Like, can you dig a little bit more on it?
Yes.
On like how you reach them now? Like, okay, so we know that this area's growing. We know that there's a lot of demand for dentistry based on the searches. We also know what insurances they have.
Right.
Then
we also know who the competitors are. And how they rank.
Okay, so talk about the competitors now, because what can you tell us about competitors?
So there are tools that will tell you who has the biggest market share of like pulling from searches, right? Okay. You can see that. And you want to list like the top 10 pretty much. That's what we're worried about, right? After the first page of anything, you're pretty much invisible, or you're hiding you hide dead bodies there. Like no one's looking.
Yeah, no, but
so you can see that. Now there's two parts to this, right? Because again, you can get some DSOs that are players that have a lot of market share and bad reviews. Okay. So in dentistry, this is what happens. Somebody does a search, right? Or they ask a question. I'm looking for a dentist near me, or whatever the question. What is a dental implant? How much does a dental implant cost? Searches come up. They look at your reviews. Okay. If your review game is not on point, they are not going to go on to the next step, which is land on your homepage, right? So we look too at who those competitors are and how strong the reviews are, because you don't need that to rank. Okay. You can rank with very few reviews and play Google or ChatGPT's game, know how to manipulate the algorithm, but human behavior is going to come in service industries, and you're not going to go with that office. You're just
I'm glad you're talking about that, because there's too many conversations about ranking and how do I get onto ChatGPT and all of that. And that all obviously is very important. That's step one. But then, the behavior part is key. A lot of marketing companies talk about behavior, but a lot of companies don't understand how to get you ranking. And to me, it's the combination of, if you land on someone's website and it's the sexiest website in the world, and it's appealing, and there's amazing videos, and it's pulling you in, that's great. But if no one finds your website,
right,
it's over.
Right. So you need to drive traffic, right?
It's got to be a combination of, yeah.
Right. And there's some other stuff in here too, just to touch on it, because I think it's good to kind of like talk about tips. Everyone gets very fixated on the visuals, but again, if you don't drive traffic, then no one is going to see what you exist. And again, you could have the most beautiful, gorgeous website in the world, and if it's not, what they call CRO, conversion rate optimization, which means you don't have the right calls to action, they click off. They're not shopping you for how pretty you are, unless it's, again, there's exceptions. You have like dentists that are big into cosmetics. So it's like veneers, some of the full arch stuff where it's very visual. But the CTAs, these calls to action that matter the most, it's like, what's the number one question they ask you when they call?
Paula, what's the number one question patients ask when they call?
Oh, it just depends. I'd say, are you taking new patients, or how much is something?
Or insurance?
Or insurance.
Yeah. Do you take my insurance?
Right.
Yeah.
Number one thing. You take my insurance. Your biggest CTA, while every dentist writes about blah, 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 best smile, number one, whatever here, da, 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 all generic. The number one thing they're looking for is, do you take my insurance? So that means you either work with insurances if you're out of network, or you do take insurances, which is the first thing they should see. The second thing is we are accepting new patients, right? Because no one feels like wasting time calling. Number 3, do you speak another language? Because Spanish is pretty predominant, and so is some other things in markets, right? Followed by, a trust bar for reviews that should pull right in, because they want to see not you posting someone that someone said, because that's not really a trust factor. And then these other things about the cost. Do we have payment plans? Do you have in-house plans? Like, those are the 5 top calls to action that drive them to the next steps.
Love that.
Which is
you get a lot. Do you see, Guido, do you get a lot, like if people, like the membership plans that are really huge now, like if I don't have insurance, what would they ask about that?
It's all positioning,
right?
It
would be like payment plans. It'd probably be like, do you take payment plans? And then you could explain.
But the thing is, this is the retail part of dentistry that DSOs have brought in here, right? So no one understands really what that means. You know what they understand? No insurance, no problem. Ask us about our in-house plan that has something that clearly defines and shows how things work. So even if you charge $5.99, state it how it is monthly, because the whole world works on cash flow.
So what would someone search? What would someone search? Right. I don't have insurance.
No insurance.
I don't have dental insurance. Right. So, or again, they're going to still start with the generic search, which is, I need a dentist near me. And then they're going to look for that on the sites, because that is a call to action that answers one of the questions that they ask. Yeah. Or they might say, how much is a dental appointment near me? And which means you should have that embedded. And that's the answer-based search you're seeing everywhere. So you should be answering those questions within the website.
Isn't that crazy? So like, that's where the AI stuff's really coming into, because you're starting to ask Google and Chatty all the questions, and it's not now a normal search. Now it's an answer.
So it doesn't necessarily say it on your website. It's embedded in there. It'll have something like no interest in
content,
but the nuances or some. Okay.
Yeah.
But the main thing, going back to the progression of what they do, is they ask a question, look at reviews, go to the homepage. They're looking for calls to action there. If that aligns, then they go to the doctor profile, right? Financial page, which should be very clear, understanding dental insurance, not all this crap with pictures of insurance up there that no one knows what it means. Like, make it for like a 5-year-old. What does in-network mean? What does out-of-network mean? What does fee-for-service mean, right? And then from there, it shoots off into, do you have payment plans? Do you have an in-house plan on separate pages with calculators? And then it's contact us. Yeah. But you should be able to contact you on it should go with you everywhere. Like, no one wants to talk to people anymore. Again, you teach on scheduling. It's an art. You don't want to open up your whole schedule, but like as an overlay or something to drive new patients and stuff, you should make it very easy for someone to. I just
had that conversation yesterday. Just don't open the whole thing up, but you have to have it. No. I will not. Matter of fact, I have I'm don't laugh at me, but I'm taking my dog to physical therapy, and I'm trying to be a new patient. When I say that I have 15 times. I've called them. They've called me back. I've called them. This has been a 3-day process, and I still don't have an appointment for my dog. Can I just?
It's literally going to book appointments for you.
Yeah, right. If they weren't referred by the other vet that says they're because physical therapy for a dog isn't a normal thing. If it was just a normal vet, I'd have moved on a long time ago. I can't. Take it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but something I can chat with somebody besides this game of phone tag. So.
Okay, so the lesson learned today, because this is an express, I'll call it an express episode, is really understanding the area in a deeper way, a more intimate way than just a basic patient to provider population ratio. It's understanding that particular area and the demand and the search that people are asking and the insurances that are popular. And then it's taking it a whole nother level to some CTAs, the call to actions, next level, taking this whole thing to the next level. And then so then it's really about the call to actions and having content that gets picked up by Google, AI, all the things on those 5 things that you said in the episode. and having an answer for all 5 of those things in the website. I heard all of that. Is there anything else that you just want to drop the mic on as far as demographics and location and all this entire topic?
So everything is based off of that and what you want to do. And it has to align with who you are also too, right? You just can't make something like work, right? So, it has to also align with who you are and what you want to be and your work also too. And does it fit into that area you want to open? You can't change people there and they're not going to change you either. So I think that's really key. Also those things should affect your hiring, right? Because if you see certain things popping up like Hispanic populations or aid, whatever it is, then look at that because those are your people. The dentist is the third touch point. They're literally going to call, see whoever walks in, your greeter, your front desk person. They've already kind of made a decision at that point. If they're waiting too long, didn't have a good phone experience. So like that really matters. AI can't replace that.
We are going to have an episode here coming out that's all about it's the soft part of marketing that no one talks about. And that is we could do 100% of what you're saying, market by market, get all the searches, get the calls. But if there's a fumble in office, and Paul, I'm going to need you for that episode. If there's a fumble in office,
fumbled on the insurance questions.
It's over. So Guido and the marketing company could do all the best job, get you the calls, but there's so many ways that it fumbles on the 1 yard line. It drives me as a consultant, Paul as a marketing company, like that. I can't imagine how many calls you get saying, I'm quitting you. You're like, what do you mean? And they're like, I'm quitting you. We get no new patients. Well, you get no new patients because you fumble but I get you a shit ton of calls. Like, whose fault is that, right? So
you got to track that also. Like, nothing just happens out of the blue. So those are where you want to get in early on with working with someone like you. And it's like you do a secret shop in the first 6 weeks and you're like, listen, this isn't going to work. There's nothing I'm going to do that's going to work. I mean, you got to be transparent about it. We're one team together. We're not just sending you reports.
Well, it's like, we will get to that, but that is the one reason why I love mailers for a startup. Not because mailers always work, but because the mailing companies listen to every call, the ones we use anyways. And it gives us a chance to listen to that call 100% of the time. And you can see if that front office person's doing the job. So
also, I think that everyone has been flooded with like digital and social. So like when you get a piece of mail now, it kind of sticks out. So we've gone completely in the opposite direction because we're seeing open rates on mailers. Like
it's true.
I always attributed it to like COVID because you were kind of like stuck at home. So you're like, oh, I got junk mail. Yay.
Yes. I was just gonna say that. Yeah. It's
right,
like
because you're just flooded in a digital world with social media ads and other stuff too, that it's just constant. So when you see something and you're like, okay, it's a little outside of it. So everything's comes back full circle. So we're back to like mailers sort of working in
back to the 80s. We're back to the 90s, I think now.
That's right. I pegged my jeans just yesterday because they need hem. So I'm bringing it back. All right, guys. With that being said, let's wrap the episode and move on. Guido, thanks so much for your time today and your expertise. I want you guys to really think about how demographics really does affect your marketing strategy. It's just a big miss. Your marketing company should be talking about it. And the whole game has changed in marketing in the last year, the whole game. And so this is the stuff we should be talking about, not pay-per-click and all the things that we used to do. Today, this is the way. So, all right, guys, without further ado, closing it down again, subscribe, all the things. We'll see you on the next episode. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Let us know how you like the show. Rate us on Apple and Spotify. Subscribe and follow for more.